on the station making history every day.
Chicago, Chicago.
Now, John Cass and Lauren Cohn.
89 WS. In constant sorrow all through his day. I am a man of constant sorrow. I've seen trouble all my day.
Lauren Cohn, John Cass, 89 WLS.
Morning.
Good morning, Lauren. Lauren, I know you. Lauren, wake up, John. Yeah.
It's one of those sleepy days, right? We just had the bad weather yesterday. Everybody's kind of sleepy this morning.
I was kind of sleepy until I found out what the Democrats are doing. They want to what? They're coming out with the budget.
Yeah, they don't want to balance the budget as usual.
The president doesn't want to balance the budget. Didn't he say that on television?
Pretty much.
It's not my job to balance the budget.
No.
What's his job?
Doesn't want
to spend us in the trillions of dollars of debt so that we could have the
It's working for him, you know?
The Bank of Cyprus here in the United States.
Exactly.
And joining us to talk about all this is Lou Dobbs, host of Lou Dobbs Tonight on the Fox Business Network weekdays at 6 p.m. Central Time, and the resident philosopher of the John Cass, Lauren Cohn Show. Good morning, Lou.
Good morning, John. Good morning, Lauren. I'm honored by the honorific, if you will. That's a great title, the philosopher.
Yeah, well, this whole budget thing, Lou, I mean, last time we talked to you about economic policy, you were disgusted. I can't even imagine. It sort of puts me to sleep, this sort of infighting going back and forth, and we don't get anywhere. And if I was the CEO of a company, I can't just walk in and say I'm not going to balance the budget or I'm going to take 10 to 20 years.
You know, we are at a point, aren't we, where I think that even the national liberal media is beginning to understand that this president is overflowing with pomposity and pretense and very little in the way of original policy ideas and the ability to originate a path to prosperity. This is an extraordinary period in which he is saying all of the wrong things, and suddenly the national media is picking up on it.
How so, Lou? How do you see that?
Well, when he said that, really the issue is, we don't have a spending crisis, we don't have a budget crisis, and we just really don't, have any real overarching need to be, in any way prudent with taxpayer money. And the next thing he's talking about Armageddon. If we befall sequester, and indeed he made it so that we did go into sequester. He refused to negotiate it. Here we are. Not a single thing the man has said has come true. I repeat, not a single element of anything he said, or even implied that would be the draconian result, has occurred. Now we have his surrogate fools running around. Talk about, well, it's like, how is it, Pelosi put it, it's like a tsunami. It'll come when you least expect it. I mean, these people have resorted to absurdities that not even the mainstream liberal media can tolerate.
Well, speaking of surrogate fools, I want to play a little exchange for you from yesterday. Poor Jay Carney, but I'm going to play it anyway, Lou.
It's not poor Jay Carney.
Yeah.
Jay Carney came to Chicago when he was with Time Magazine and did a whole puff piece on Rich Daley, boss of the machine, and said, Rich Daley, he looks over Chicago as if he were Andy of Mayberry. And from that moment, I knew Dave Axelrod had great big plans for Jay Carney. So here he is in the White House.
Oh, God.
So check this out.
How does the president justify lavish vacations and a golf trip to Florida at taxpayer expense? And does he plan to cut back on his travel?
I can tell you that this president is focused every day on policies that create economic growth and help advance job creation.
Lou, he didn't answer the question.
Isn't it wonderful, though, that he's being asked the question? The answer,
Finally, right.
more or less, I would expect. But the fact that the question was asked, my Lord, is the White House press corps growing a spine? This is amazing.
I guarantee you, Lou, that fellow, I think, was from out of town, and he was probably isolated he has to go to room 101, where the rat cage will be put on his face until, and when they're done with him, if he recants, maybe he can watch Meet the Press on the side of the studio.
And we're going to play more later because we're going to take your calls on this, but they continued, Lou, to ask him that question. He still didn't answer it.
Yeah, he's not going to answer because obviously he's not authorized by the Great One to even imagine adjusting any point of luxury or privilege that has become the purview of this administration. Think about where this man and his family have come from Chicago, where their tastes were apparently rather simple and middle class, to now he behaves as a potentate. He brings in the finest entertainment and foods and wines. He has become a creature that is, I think, frankly, repugnant to most Americans. There are some people who can live that way, but they have to live that way, I think, outside the view of most of us and the public.
They're in Hollywood.
Well, we are being distracted by certain people who think they're conservatives, who are comparing him to some sort of the devil on the Bible,
right.
and they're making a big thing of it, like that he looks like the devil on the Bible, but in reality, the issue isn't what he looks like; it's that we're at $16+ trillion in debt. The Bank of Cyprus is collapsing, and here he is going on vacations, and no budget, and no real cuts in spending,
and no meat inspectors, by the way. Don't forget that.
No cuts in spending, Lou.
Well, he'll get back to us in April, John. We mustn't worry. He will be back in April after he's done
Spring
what
break.
he must or wants. Look at what this. I mean, if you want to build a case, and the reason, by the way, they've started this nonsense about the character in the Bible. And I'm watching it. My wife and I watch it every Sunday on the History Channel. It's at 8 here. I guess that would be 7 your time. But the fact is, that's a brilliant production. It's wonderfully done. And by the way, it is the highest watched cable broadcast in history, and is wiping out all of the entertainment networks. And what this does is deflect and distract public attention and media attention from the fact that the Bible is the single most successful cable offering in history. And then people want to talk about the Satan thing. Well,
right. I want to talk about the budget
let's
thing.
Let's talk about why he's getting rid of the egg roll. Is it too
right.
closely associated with Easter? What's really going on here?
Thanks so much, Lou. Thank you, Lou Dobbs.
Thank you, Lou.
You're going to be every night. You can see Lou Dobbs tonight on the Fox Business Network, weekdays at 6 p.m. Central Time, and also on this show where he is our resident philosopher, sits on the Philosopher's Stone, and talks to us. So thanks, Lou.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it, John. Thank you.
In the when we come back, 591-8900. Here's the question.
We want to know what you think about the president's vacations, fancy vacations.
Yeah, let's
Should he cancel them?
Yeah, big vacations or and do you have big vacations? I don't have one. John Cass, Lauren Cohn, back after this. Yeah, this is John Cass, Lauren Cohn. When we broke, we were with Lou Dobbs, and I said something like, "Do you have big vacations or something?" Okay, I write better than I speak in the Tribune most days. But the question,
lavish vacation.
Yes, but the question is, okay, we're going to cut the Druidic fertility rights symbol at the White House, which is the Easter egg hunt.
Right. And there was that email that went out apparently that said to folks, if you have these tickets, acknowledge the fact that this can be canceled at any time.
But
Not that it is yet.
But here's the president's mouthpiece, his smarmy little mouthpiece, Jay Carney, being asked a question, and we want you to react to it. 591-8900. Here goes.
When there's government workers who may be furloughed, millions of Americans unemployed, and family budgets that have been cut, how does the president justify lavish vacations and a golf trip to Florida at taxpayer expense? And does he plan to cut back on his travel?
I can tell you that this president is focused every day on policies that create economic growth and help advance job creation. We have presided over the past 3 years over an economy that's produced over 6.3 million private sector jobs. And we have more work to do. And this president's number one priority is growth and job creation. When you come to,
minority communities.
well, the fact is unemployment has come down. It has not.
Oh, Jay.
I think he meant it inched down. What is it, 9.9 in Chicago and 9.8 in Illinois? We're higher than the national average.
9.9, but it's really higher because that's the positive spin number. That's not the real number, which is people who drop out of the workforce forever. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 591-8900. He's not taking a cut in his vacations. Are you? Jay in the car, Jay.
Hey, guys. Long time listener, first time got on the show, so nice to actually talk to you guys.
Cool. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, I did my taxes over the weekend. I made pretty much the same amount of money. I have a small child. I have mortgage interest that I have to pay, use this with deduction. And I go off and do my tax return, and it's 80% less than it was last year is what I'm getting back, 80%. So basically my vacation's out of there. What's Obama's vacation doing?
But I thought he cared about the middle class.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a total middle-class guy.
Right.
And apparently I don't get to go on vacation, but he can go to Hawaii and God knows where else.
Here's how it works. He can go to Hawaii and go golf with Tiger Woods and spend $1 million just to come out here to Argonne National Laboratory for something he could have done over Skype. Right?
Right.
And you and I and the rest of us get to have grabbers while we're thinking how we're going to educate the children. Right? Isn't that basically what it is, Jay? Welcome to America under Obama. Thanks, man. Thanks.
Hey, have a great day, guys.
All right. I'm so depressed now. Mark, cheer us up.
No vacation for you.
Mark in Midlothian, can you cheer us up?
No, not really. But first of all, I'd like to thank you for taking my call. And you kind of touched on it a minute ago on the last conversation. I was just curious of what it cost to fly Air Force One, around the country and come to Chicago, once a month, and they can't keep the White House open, even 3 days a week for the school kids. You have any comments on that?
You're right. It's cost a lot of money. And
well, I would like to hear Lauren's point of view.
Well, I don't know the exact dollar amount, but I could tell you it's high. And there's no justification. You're right, Mark. There's no justification for it. Absolutely not.
So Lauren thinks that the president should cut his trips down and open the White House for the people.
Yeah, or let Donald Trump pay for the tours because he offered to, right? He's got all that money.
Well, I agree with Lauren. I agree with you that, like I said, even if they would open the White House even 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and just have the school kids go through. I realize it costs money to set up the tours and stuff, but like I said, what does it cost? And I have no idea to fly Air Force One all over the place.
A lot of money.
Listen.
Yes.
We know there are people holding, and we want to get to them.
Yes,
but
thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Thanks. All right, Sean in Elmwood Park. Sean, you're the man.
I'm listening to this, and, it's coming to me. We're talking about the Bible and all these things. It's coming to me. Obama is a pharaoh. From his made-up facts, so it is said, let it be written. Unemployment is 7.7. This is the way it is, and no one ever questions him. He came into Illinois, and no one talked about the fact it was to set up a $2 billion boondoggle on global warming that he's going to tax people for.
Thanks, Sean. So it is written. So let it be done. John Cass, Lauren Cohn, back after this.
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority got Obama phone.
89.
WLS.